which I've done for quite some time, studying companies, organizations, and families that have lasted 100 years or more. Today, I happen to be in Asheville, North Carolina, broadcasting to you from the Biltmore, which is a fantastic example of that in terms of a long game business and a multi-generational family in this case.
Yeah, the Vanderbilt.
Yes.
Eric, it sounds like a fascinating book. We're out of time today, but we appreciate your time and we hope to see you again soon.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. When we come back this morning, NVIDIA shares are surging, lifting all boats in the chip sector. We'll talk to an analyst right after the break. That stock right now up by 4.8%. And later, Bridgewater founder Ray Dalio will join us right here on the Squawk set. We'll be right back.
Yes, our days start very early.
World of conformity. It's the innovative and stand out.
Often
At FlexJet,
the day
we
can start
develop a
early.
state-of-the-art operation
I really tip my hat off to the analysts
and helicopters.
and
Our
the market
regular crews are
commentator
leading the way in pilot compensation, all supported by one of the world's largest maintenance
that
networks.
do
This
this.
is our timeless dedication to the
I mean, that get up
outdoing the competition.
every morning, supply us with the market news that we need.
81% of commerce happens in the real world, not online. Your 2026 plan needs a real world strategy. AI is killing your traffic. Big tech owns your audience. You need to turn every touch point into a direct to consumer funnel. Scan now for the 2026 Big Ass CMO growth plan. Flowcode, instantly connect fans to your brand.
Capital and KKR are expanding access to a world of investing that's reserved for a select few. By bringing public and private markets together, we're transforming what's possible for you and your clients. Explore a world of public-private plus funds. Take the first step. CNBC. Live ambitiously. Buy the dip with CNBC Pro's best deal of the year. Market-moving news and interviews across 3 global live streams. Subscriber-only content from Wall Street pros like Josh Brown.
If you love the stock market as much as I do, you're going to love the best stocks in the market list.
Plus exclusive live events.
This is my first time at the stock exchange and it's been awesome. I just can't believe I'm
With the best deal of the year at CNBC.com/Pro Black Friday. Terms and restrictions apply.
The itch and rash of moderate to severe eczema disrupts my skin. Despite treatment, it's still not under control. But now, I have Rinvoq, a once-daily pill that reduces the itch and helps clear the rash of eczema fast. Some felt significant itch relief as early as 2 days, and some achieved dramatic skin clearance as early as 2 weeks. Many saw clear or almost clear skin. Plus, many had clearer skin and less itch, even at 4 years.
Rinvoq can lower ability to fight infections. Before treatment, test for TB and do blood work. Serious infections, blood clots, some fatal. Cancers including lymphoma and skin, serious allergic reactions, GI tears, death, heart attack, and stroke occurred. CV event risk increases in age 50 plus with a heart disease risk factor. Tell your doctor if you've had these events: infection, Hep B or C, smoked, are pregnant or planning. Don't take if allergic or have an infection.
Disrupt the itch and rash of eczema. Talk to your dermatologist about Rinvoq.
Learn how AbbVie can help you save.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Take a look at shares of NVIDIA. They're up by about 4.7% this morning, more than $9.70. For all of that, watching what's been happening with this, gaining more than 45% just since the start of the year. We've been keeping
So vibes.
AI chipmaker reporting stronger than expected profits and revenue, and the CEO Jensen Huang saying sales of its flagship chips
What's up, so?
charts. And his joining us right now is Chris Casso.
I'm all right. I'm all right.
And Chris, expectations in the water, not so much, on the
A lot of
sell side,
times,
on the buy side too. What do you make of these numbers? Does
a
it
lot of times
concern
I don't see the comments, Sophie.
And, you know,
Like if I have my sunglasses on, like my eyes are not that good. I can't smoking.
Was this reiteration of something they talked about back at GTC Washington a couple weeks ago, which is that they had $500 billion of bookings for the for 25 plus 26. And given what they've guided to for that quarter, and just doing the math into next year, that also has some healthy upside for next year as well, which is, I think
that's that
what
fire.
Yeah, I mean,
You've been busy?
All of these issues and the fear with the AI sales in general. The AI bubble, if it is one, if it's not.
That's cool. That's what's up. You know, subscribe and like. I'm up early this morning. I made a couple purchases, bought a few shares of stock already. A lot of people don't even know you can start buying stocks at 7 a.m. The market technically opens at 9:30. But you can start buying stocks at 7 a.m.
What's likely to happen in the next 2 years?
Like, if you got to play this game for real, you could buy stocks at 7 and sell them at 9:30. What if you bought them at 7? They went up and you sold them. If you trade stocks, I don't trade stocks. I don't day trade stocks. I trade options contracts. Every blue moon I trade stocks, but I trade stock options contracts. I invest in trade options contracts. And I just recently started. I just recently entered into the world of futures.
I want to take a look at the revenue numbers. We checked this out earlier this morning.
I'm getting ready to learn how futures go.
Quarterly revenue, but let's look at the overall NVIDIA quarterly revenue.
Try my hand at futures and see what life is like.
$57.1 billion in revenue.
So I'm in a few futures contracts, Forex futures, not just regular futures, Forex futures. Messing with that, trading that money.
That's pretty phenomenal. That's pretty amazing. We kind of forget that story when you start worrying about where things are headed with this. What do you think a fair shares are based on what they said yesterday, based on what they reported yesterday?
That's the stuff I be growing.
So our number for next year earnings number goes to $8.
I grow my own medicine. It's really strong.
About a 23 multiple or so. So we raised our price target $250. But I think that addresses one of the concerns also, which is, is this a bubble? And, I was around in 2000.
Damn, that's a hell of a plan.
At that point at triple digit valuations. And we're just not right now. And so
450 condos, $1,000 a month.
Growth has been, better than
450,000.
We're looking at really strong growth next year.
That's definitely what it is.
Low 20s multiple is certainly not unreasonable for the stock.
But
so you
know,
$250 price target on this stock. If you expand your aperture and look at the
that's a beautiful goal.
How do you feel about some of the other stuff?
That's a big dream. You can make that dream come true. As a woman, there's so many opportunities for women to help women obtain financial goals and objectives. 450 units, $1,000 a unit.
The memory producers leverage that I think still continues into next
that
year.
Could be one building. You might be able to find one building with 450 apartments.
Past several months as they too got a win at
and
that brings their data center revenue into next year, pretty close to $30 billion, and that's transformational for AMD as well. And that stock also was trading at a low 20s.
450 apartments.
Is actually discounting the potential that things.
Nice little maintenance team. Keep everything up. You know what I mean?
Very high conviction in 26, 27, and as that comes through, we think these stocks continue to work.
Yeah, AMD up by about 4.5% this morning as well. I think CoreWeave, I saw it up by 8%.
But it's all type of tax deductions that you would be able to utilize.
I don't.
So
but the overall
once you
concern,
start
it-
when
it's
when
just
you
that.
when you
Is
when
this
you
money
when
going
you
to
when
fund
you on that
these
level,
states?
Sophie,
And I think, certainly
you have to think. Once you start utilizing
and the visibility that NVIDIA
all of
has
your
right
tax
now,
advantages as far as deductions
Jensen and
and
NVIDIA they have confidence
and
that
the
money is
different
going to be spent.
business
Ultimately, if
deductions
money
that
is
you
spent,
can
the
utilize and
valuations are reasonable enough that
deductions
stocks
for
continue to go higher if that
equipment
money is
and the
indeed spent.
different things of that
Chris
nature.
Casso. Chris, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Coming up, we've got, ready for this? Not a typo.
Know how they
September
do.
jobs report. It's going to be released at 8:30 a.m. Eastern time. That report, obviously, a couple months late. But before that,
He was on Dateline of 60
We're
Minutes.
going to have that next. And then later, you know, Bridgewater founder Ray Dalio on the markets, the state of the economy, the AI boom, and so much more. That's at 8 a.m. Eastern time this morning.
That's in a minute. That's in a half hour.
Time now for today's
Ray Dalio, one of the best, one of the greatest
Has
investors
the tallest building
to
in
do it.
California, as
You
well
know
as
what
the
I'm talking about?
building west of the Mississippi. The answer when Squawk Box returns.
Hey, look, Coach. Meaty's here. Watch me work, baby. I'm sure they're here to see the commissioner of coverage.
You in Missouri? Oh, well, my auntie live in St. Louis. My auntie live in St. Louis.
Commissioner needs to act like you can catch the number on medical bills.
We think you're amazing.
I came to see you, huh?
Get help with expenses. Health insurance doesn't cover
What school you go to? You in college or something?
Man, they gotta ask about it at work. They are working.
At Corient, wealth management begins and ends with you.
Nah, I didn't think you left, Sophie. I don't be tripping like that. I know people have their own lives. And everybody have their own lives and be having their own little stuff that they have to do. I know that. I don't be tripping like that.
It's time for
Well,
Corient.
like, I appreciate the support, really. You know, just learn how to invest and, you know, prepare for your future and invest your money, put your money where your money can make more money for you. And you know what I mean? Join the CNBC Investing Club whenever you get the opportunity and you can get the money together and, you know, let Jim Cramer take advantage of Jim Cramer. Cause he like a jewel, he like a gift, you know. Take advantage of, you know, the blessings, you know, the people that we have around that could guide us in this life. You know what I mean? To help us to develop skills that we could utilize to create a better life for ourselves.
Strongest Ram 1500 ever. And get it all backed by a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty. Nothing stops Ram. Don't let anything stop
It's crazy.
Ram Black Friday sales event.
Right now,
In July,
and get 0% financing for 60 months or 5,500.
you know, it's crazy. They fired me. They fired me based on a lie. It was a straight up wrongful termination. Oh my God, what a steal I'm about to come up off of that. Jesus. This is a beautiful market. This shit that's about to happen. This what's going on right now. It's crazy.
Aflac trivia question. What building holds the record as the tallest
Wow,
building
it's
in
so much
California,
money
as
out
well
here.
as the tallest building west of the Mississippi? The answer? The Wilshire Grand Center, which is in downtown Los Angeles.
There's so much money out here, and
This morning from Indeed,
a lot of people don't know.
is likely to rise in 2026, but job openings should stabilize. Joining us right now with the details of the report is Laura Ulrich. She's the Director of Economic Research. Good morning to you. Help us understand what you're seeing and what is going to drive the unemployment picture that you're talking about.
Yes, so great to be here this morning. So as you mentioned, our report shows that we're expecting unemployment probably to end up within a range of about 4.1 to 4.8% next year. And we estimate that using the Blue Chip Consensus GDP estimates for next year, and then kind of doing our own calculations to estimate job postings and unemployment rate. And really what we're expecting to see is a continuation in much of the macro economy of this low hire environment we've been in. But as we've highlighted in our report, it's very different if you look and kind of narrow into different sectors and different geographies across the country.
So, one of the things that we talk about all the time, we've been talking about in video all morning, is the prospect that AI is going to actually generate a lot of this unemployment. That's not your thesis.
No, it's not right now. We don't believe that AI is what's driving. It's not like the dominant player in the market. Some of the uncertainty about AI might be slowing down businesses' decision making, but we don't believe it's the dominant thing that's happening in the market. And part of that is because we do track how many job postings mention AI in any form, and it's still very low. It's still just at 3.2% in our Indeed data.
So if you wanted to move right now to a state where you think you have the best prospect of getting a job, you'd move where? And if you wanted to move from a state where you think you won't have a job, where would you move out of?
Great question. So we talk about this in the report. One of the interesting trends is that the smaller MSAs in almost every state are outpassing the largest MSAs in job postings. And job postings are higher kind of in the Southeast Sunbelt region across the country, and then some in the middle part of the country as well. So if you look at a state like Georgia, it's actually Atlanta that has the lowest job posting.
Where you go to school at, Sophie?
It's still well above pre-COVID levels, but it's the lowest of all the MSAs in Georgia. It's actually the smaller MSAs like Macon or Augusta or Athens that have stronger growth. And we see that across the country.
And where is it the biggest problem spot?
Yeah, great question. The biggest problem spots are the large MSAs that are very tech heavy. So if you look in places like Seattle and some of the Bay Area and some of the other MSAs in California.
You don't connect that back to AI though? And the reason I mentioned that, I was looking at that in the report and thinking to myself, well, if it's these big tech heavy oriented cities, and we keep hearing these anecdotally that a lot of these folks don't need the number of engineers that they used to require for programming and the like. Doesn't that explain why they're not posting those jobs?
Actually, what we think that much of this also is about the curve that we saw in tech job postings back in 21 and 22. If you look, they had an extremely large boom during that period, and so we do believe that some of what is happening now, that kind of the tech bubble bursting in labor is just as much about that boom in 21, 22 as it is about AI. Right now, we do see some entry-level job postings declining, but there are senior level jobs, for example, are expanding. So we don't attribute the majority of it to AI right now, even though we do believe AI is having some impact for sure.
How much of it is just that these tech companies are spending so much money on the talent at the very top for AI, they've got to find other places to cut back.
I think that is part of it, and I think also if you look at hiring in general that occurred earlier in the post-pandemic period, much of that was in entry-level developers and analysts, and we can look and see what at the job title level, what jobs are declining the fastest, and entry-level positions, and we do see growth in those senior roles.
Okay, well, I want to thank you. Fascinating report, and of course we'll get another report, maybe not as timely. We'll see the numbers from September.
Oh yeah, I need some of that.
Plus, when you're talking to Senator Mark Warner about some of these very same issues, he and some of his colleagues have some questions about
Damn.
it is cutting into job creation, and they've got a bill to try and show some more transparency.
Stay safe.
We'll get his comments on that.
Sophie, you in high school? Oh, you get to start. You starting your life, Sophie, from you don't ruin your life. Do the right thing. Don't trust boys.
To keep your growth going, you need an advisor.
Don't trust boys, Sophie.
Accounting, advisory, insurance, and more. See this. Insights that impact.
Make them earn your trust.
Inside out.
Sometimes it's hard to make sense of nonsense. Go beyond the headlines. A trusted global perspective.
Make them earn your trust, Sophie.
Know which way is up.
That guard dog sure is lucky he has SimpliSafe with proactive monitoring.
Stop. This is Simply Safe. Police are on the way.
Get off of this thing and get yourself ready for school.
SimpliSafe. Real security stops crime before it starts.
She's doing on here. Get ready for
It's kind of
school.
like bookkeeping and accounting, right? Lots of strategy, lots of effort, and if you don't have the right partner, you just won't win. It's time to team up with a winning partner. Call Zendu.
Santorio Hector, Stock Market Savage. Like and subscribe, you guys. Like and subscribe. Sophie can learn to start investing early. She's 16. If she has a summer job or a part-time job and you know started investing right now, who knows, she could have those 450 condos, and they're gonna all be rented out because that's really a deal. Where would you know what I'm saying? Just think about it. She said $1,000, $1,000 a month. So she would charge a reasonable rent to guarantee that income, and also that depending on the area, that anywhere in Florida, those units gonna be wholly occupied.
Safe to say, Mike Tirico is constantly in our living room.
Wow! Look at all those sports!
It also means your reality shows.
I need everybody to go check out the records on all music platforms. Go check out my albums featuring artists from across the United States. And tap in on Santorio Hector. This is how my day starts sometime. I've been up since 5:30, 6. I woke up I fell asleep I fell asleep watching Dateline. And woke up to the financial news.
Enabling them to work together to run computations at unprecedented speeds. They say their collaboration will create a pathway to form a future quantum computing internet by the late 2030s.
Meantime, we've got
IBM.
to tell you about right now. Abbott is buying Exact Science. The price tag, $105 per share, about $21 billion. Exact Sciences is a leader in large and fast-growing cancer screening and precision oncology diagnostics.
Merger.
Take a look right now at just what's happening here. The Exact Sciences stock up at 17% on the back of that news.
Merger.
Still a little bit of an arbitrage taking place. We'll see what's going on there.
Exact Sciences, Exact Sciences makes Cologuard. That's a non-invasive colorectal cancer screening option. I think that's one of those ones where you poop in a box. It's also got the Oncotype DX that informs personalized treatment decisions for patients with breast cancers. The company is saying, Abbott is, that it expects that to have immediate addition.
Even the Asian market's higher on the back of NVIDIA results, ahead of U.S. jobs data. European markets rise because of NVIDIA results.
Keep our eyes on that transaction.
Oil edge is higher.
Concerns on Capitol Hill about AI-related job losses.
Gold dips and the dollar gains.
Require big companies to report any AI-related job data to the federal.
Wow.
He's going to talk to us about that new legislation next.
Gold dips and the dollar gains. Shit, you know what that just means? I'm long on oil. I'm about to take me a futures contract on some, go long on some oil, baby. Shit.
rather than get rich quick, I believe in get rich slow. The high yield cash account at Public actually had higher rates than anything else I was able to find online. I don't want to be losing sleep over having made risky investments. I needed something stable that could really give me long-term financial benefits. I know my money's working hard for me, and I know I can access it anytime I need it.
You heard what he said. He said, I know my money working hard for me. He said, I know I can access it anytime I need it. I know my money's working hard for me, and I can access it anytime I need it. That's what he said.
So meet today's challenges while creating future opportunities. It takes balance. CLA, CPAs, consultants, and wealth advisors will get you there.
Agnico Eagle, second largest gold producer in the world, delivering scale, consistency, and superior leverage to gold. That's Agnico Eagle.
CMOs, CEOs,
I definitely own that company. I love it. I be seeing shit on the TV. I own that shit. You know what I'm talking about? It's a different life. Praise God. You know what I'm talking about. Get ready to get up right now and go read some Bible and some Quran. I would suggest that to all the youth to never go the way of the streets. You know the streets. Listen, this is the difference. Know the streets, young brothers and young sisters. Know the streets. Know how the people of the world operate. Just don't allow yourself to be corrupted and poisoned by lust and the desires of the world. Ultimately, at the end of the day, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. And you could be a savage, and you could be a goon, and you could be the type of man that'll take care of his family, and the type of man that'll defend his family by any means necessary without having to be involved in the negativity and the violence and the corruption of the streets, and then sometimes the corruption of the legitimate world as well.
Joining us right now is Senator Mark Warner. He is a Democrat from Virginia. And Senator, welcome. Thank you for joining us today. I know that this is legislation that you're introducing.
So, I'm getting ready. This is how often, this is how my morning will start. Breaking down, analyzing the markets. Because at the end of the day, if you really pay attention,
it's also going to create some jobs downstream. What we're trying to get at
the way to best protect your investments is to know how the markets correlate to one another.
But the fact that entry-level jobs may very quickly
You
disappear.
don't have to know how the markets correlate to one another. What happens to futures when stocks go up? What happens to stocks when bonds go down? What happens to futures and bonds when stocks go up? Or what happens to stocks and futures when bonds go down? What happens to Bitcoin when the market goes down? What happens to Bitcoin when futures go up and the market go down? Where should I put? Which way is up? Where should I have money invested so that at any given time I can take profits from somewhere? I really wholly believe that this is why Peter Lynch owned hella stocks, and also why he could You can't catch a 100 bagger, a 50 bagger, a 10 bagger, or 1,000 bagger if you don't own a lot of stocks and if you're not high risk.
So there's AI jobs from
You gotta play high risk sometimes.
this level
Yeah.
of
You have to play high risk
job
sometimes.
loss. I already know all the big banks are cutting their internship programs. Their hiring's in half. They intend to cut again
Chances
next year.
make champions. Shout out my
My
little
feeling
brother.
is if we
Shout out
eliminate that
Chances.
front end of the pipeline, how are people ever going to get to that mid-career spot?
Okay,
I
can I,
think the
can
AI
I
guys
say, I agree with you on your concern about what happens to entry-level jobs, 100%, but you're already wrapping it up with the idea that, and we're going to make you pay to retrain. That makes me think you are, instead of going to be shining light on what's happening with this situation, you are only going to encourage companies to be less honest and less open about what's happening, when the answer is, you're going to pay, we're going to tax you, we're going to come at you to make sure we fix this.
No. What I would say is this: you got to start with good data. We don't have any of that data right now. Two, if you go to 25% recent college graduate unemployment levels, this will be the dominant political issue in 26 and 28. I think, and government's response ought to be, how do we actually work with the AI community and say, you guys help us figure out what that job training, retraining program looks like. We clearly, if we go way back in time, 3 years ago, and we thought, well, at least everybody ought to be a coder. That didn't end up being the right thing. I really want to get engaged with the AI community, and I've been talking to, we all know the names, I've been talking to a lot of them, how we could design something that would get us through this transition. I accept the fact there may be AI jobs coming down the line, but there's going to be this gap, and I think the AI community ought to have some responsibility in helping us figure this out.
Senator, I think that the question that Becky's got into in a very good way is, it would be one thing if you said, look, we just need to understand the data and we need everybody to report. And then there's a question of how everyone's going to report, what that's going to look like, who's actually going to track all of this and that and the like. And then there is this question, which Becky went straight to, which you've gone to, which is what is that data effectively used for? If people ultimately think it's being used for attacks, that's going to be a real quandary. And I'm not suggesting it shouldn't be, and there may be responsibility.
Becky used the word tax. Becky used the word tax.
I didn't.
I said,
You used the word pay.
I said the word, there ought to be a contribution. If you have this much dislocation, and as our tech friends always say, government, you do this, you'll screw it up. Let me grant them that.
A contribution or a mandatory contribution, which is a tax.
Yeah, listen, let's work through the process. But let's also acknowledge you got 25% recent college graduate unemployment with $50,000, $100,000 in debt, and you don't think that's going to drive?
It's 9%. No, I think it's a huge problem. Trust me, I think it's a huge problem as somebody who just had a college student graduate and who has another one coming this year.
Right.
I think it's a huge problem, but I think if you actually want to get at it and want to fix it, trying to work with the industry is probably better than trying to whip them into shape by getting them to do some of these things. And I didn't know about the idea of making them pay for this. That was news to me when you just said it.
My sense is this. They understand what the economy is going to look like better than most. If you don't think they should make some contribution, if they could help design the program, I think it actually, what I'm talking about is a public-private initiative. And frankly, if we go back historically, and simply say we're going to have this massive job dislocation and we're going to go back to 1990s solutions. And I think most everybody would acknowledge the Trade Assistance Act grants really didn't work. I'm saying at the front end of this transformation, let's actually engage with the community and see if we can create something together.
So, Senator,
yes, do I think they should chip in? Yes.
Senator, how should it work? And by the way, in truth, whether the AI community, where a lot of the benefit is ultimately going to go in terms of the profits and things to them, and maybe they should contribute. The reporting requirement that you're talking about is not just from tech itself, it's from everybody who's engaged in AI. So actually from their incentive perspective, their incentive actually probably is to report this across the board.
Would you go after the big banks if they are not, like you mentioned the big banks and said that they are cutting their internship programs. If the big banks and some of the other big companies are doing that, do you think they should also contribute to training?
Here's the question. It begs the question around about everything with AI. if there is any contribution, does it come from the entity that uses the AI, the big bank or big, any large corporate? Does it come from the large language model? Does it come from the people who provide the chips that are the bullets? Those were at the front end of this, but the idea that this kind of transformation, which is going to happen so quickly, it's accelerating at an extraordinary pace. And I'm not an AI doom scroller. I think AI is going to bring a lot of benefit. But through this period of disruption, I do not think we can simply sit back and say business as usual.
But Senator, I think to Becky's point, it's an interesting one. And as you're talking about actually the different beneficiaries, you know, we keep saying, well, a lot of the benefits going to accrue to the technology universe, and that's true, perhaps. But if it works the way it's supposed to, it actually should accrue to all of industry, and you should see a sort of huge productivity boom. And if you're a bank, or if you're a technology company, or pharmaceutical company, or what have you, you would like to think that their profits and their profit margins should go up materially, right? So that's what we're talking about. And then the question is, and this gets to the tax issue of how that then gets effectively redistributed, if that's what we're talking about.
What we're talking about is, can we, rather than at the tail end of this, go to the tech community? And again, I've started these conversations and say...
He's saying, can they contribute financially to helping train people and get people in position to utilize the AI to make it more efficient so that they could be employable? Jesus.
2 years, if we do nothing, we'll be at 25%. And I think that's a big deal, and I think we ought to, not pull our hair out at the end, but actually go to the entities that are creating these new tools and say, how do we make that recent finance grad or even more?
That's what he's saying. That's what the senator is saying. He's saying that everybody should contribute to be able to take these college graduates who cannot get jobs and contribute to be able to come up with ways to use AI and the community to train people and teach people, help them evolve into people who can build from AI and who can be employable from being able to use AI.
More news for you. We got some news just coming in right now from Verizon this morning. Company CEO Dan Schulman sending a letter to employees about layoffs. Talking about jobs here. Today, he says, quote, we will begin reducing our workforce by more than 13,000 employees across the organization and significantly reduce.
Damn, Verizon about to lay off 13,000 people.
We're taking are designed to make us faster and more focused, positioning our company to deliver for our customers while continuing.
I'm sure that's telephone customer service reps, $20 million in-store reps.
Career transition fund for employees
who have those jobs, who work inside the cell phone stores.
As many as 15,000 jobs. We're looking at that stock off just marginally, but
damn,
it's had an opportunity to really move one way or the other, and maybe the expectation was that something like this was coming with
them employees that be coming around to your door trying to sell you, trying to get you to switch to Verizon from Spectrum. Yeah, no.
This may be in there. The CEO of UBS pushing back on a report that said the bank is considering leaving Switzerland. Joe and I had been discussing that one earlier this week. Plus, Bridgewater founder Ray Dalio on it's the state of the economy, the AI boom, and much more. That's coming up in the 8 a.m. hour. You do not want to miss that conversation.
Like Vito Corleone, Ray Dalio.
Rookie of the year.
Yeah, it's about to be 8 o'clock and then an hour and a half. 8 o'clock and an hour and a half to the market. Learn how to invest, guys. Learn how to invest.
Other times they just fall.
Learn how to invest. Learn how to invest. You hear me? Learn how to invest. Just come in here. Get the screens ready. Get in here with the screens ready. This morning. Ready to do our stuff. Okay. That's what I want to see. Yeah, we headed up this motherfucker. It's gonna be 40,000 for the day over with. We're gonna hit that 40,000. What's up, Alan Blazinator? What's up, Blaze? What type of tips and advice you looking for, Alex? What you want to talk about? Talk to me. What's on your mind? Stay away from the suckers. Duck the suckers. You know what I mean? Strive to be the best you that you could be, Alex. Alan. Alan? Did I say Alex? My fault, Alan. Alan Blazinator. Strive to be the best you can be, Alan. Blazinator. You dig? Get to this money. Teach yourself and learn how to invest. Real talk. When you get paid, make yourself take a little bit of every paycheck and put it into the market. Buy you some Bitcoin. Buy you some stocks. You decide. You choose. I don't give investment advice, but in my opinion, everybody should be an investor. You don't have to be a trader, but everybody should buy stocks at a low price and sell them when they go up. Like, hold them 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. Hold them for a long time, and you'll always have money. When your stocks go down, don't panic. Buy more. When the story is the same and the story hasn't changed, then it's a great company and they're doing great things, but they might go down because of some type of news or some type of event, and know what you own. Don't set yourself up to work for somebody for the rest of your life and depend on them to provide you with a pension. And why would you lock yourself into that type of scenario? And I'm down with working a job, bro. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, I was loving working my job, getting dirty every day. I'm looking at my work clothes. You wanna know what's crazy? I have not bought myself to be able to throw my work clothes away. Now they fired me in July. It was a wrongful termination. They never should have fired me. I never should have been fired. I didn't do anything wrong. They lied on me. But if they wouldn't have fired me, bro, I wouldn't have been forced to be in this position to see if I could trade full time. And who knows how much money I really could have made because I was only trading part-time, and I would put stock options contracts in and just go on about my business. But when you ain't in a position where you could day trade, they might get in the money while I was up under the sink doing something, and by the time I'm looking back at my phone again, they never get in the money again. So how much money was I losing for real if I'm not really doing leaps and swings, working a 9 to 5? I would never tell nobody to quit their job to become a trader or an investor. That is something I would never tell nobody to quit their job and become a trader or an investor, ever. Because I wouldn't have never quit my job. Ever. I was going to leverage my job. I was happy. I was at my 2-year anniversary. They fired me right after my 2-year anniversary. I had 160 hours paid time off. I'm about to get all that money, by the way, too. I sued them, and I won for wrongful termination. The Equal Employment Opportunity Commission sided with me. They said that I was discriminated against. The African-American supervisor was trying to press the line on me. I'm a dark-skinned Native American who was raised by a white man. A lot of people take my story as if that's me saying I want to be white. My father was white. I was born thinking I was half white, a half breed. I didn't know my father who raised me was not my biological father until later in life. And so my life is an ill-ass story. My biological father is a Spanish Indian who people come from the islands of Barbados and Antigua. And my father who raised me from a baby was a white man who was connected to the mafia. Period. I'm a dark-skinned Native American. I don't put no chemicals in my hair. None of that. Look at my hair. I don't put no chemicals in it or nothing. It's me. And in my life, I had an ill story. Blood member, gang member, fucking drug dealer, sold every type of fucking drug that existed. I'm in LA gang documentary segments, respected across the world, across the globe for this Damu thing.
The Vision 2030 program in a way that is really unachievable as it was originally announced. They have pulled back quite a bit from what they've been doing. They've gone into debt to some degree. I think they've got 38% debt to GDP right now, which is not terribly high compared to historical norms, but it's still noteworthy that it's increasing. I think they may well have bit off more than they can chew in terms of these supposed $1 trillion worth of investments. And I think they're very desperate for foreign direct investment. They have to have foreign currency. They have to have foreign participation in all these mega projects that they're proposing.
So let's think that through. So first of all, that announcement about the $1 trillion of investment, I said to Joe just the other day, $1 trillion, that is the country's GDP practically. So is that a real investment? I mean, how should we even think about that? And obviously it would be over years, but are we talking about 10 years? Are we talking about 5 years? Are we talking about 30 years?
See, they be knowing the numbers. He like, that's they whole, that's their cold country gross domestic product. That they GDP. Like that's they whole put out. That's their whole output. Better do the numbers. We got one thing about it. You're gonna get better on your math. Or you better. Yeah, I would never tell nobody to quit their job. I was put in a position where I was forced to trade full time. And so, I was working 8 hours a day, making $23 an hour on call sometimes. You know what I'm saying? 24 hours a day for a week on call. You know what I mean? And getting dirty. People, you know what I'm talking about, in people's apartments to fix stuff. They nasty, like, you know what I mean? It was You know, playing in shitty ass toilets, unclogging shitty toilets, and changing shitty ass wax rings and patching holes in ceilings. Was happy to do it. To have a job, excuse me. To have a job doing something productive. I done had 2 booger bloopers. What type of shit is that? Let me watch. who had 2 booger bloopers in the live, man? What's going on? I know I got a big ass nose. My nose bigger than Hove. But dang, yeah, I ain't even. Sheesh. Excuse me, y'all. You know, we dropped so much knowledge, I can't even believe it. But for real, I was forced into this position to have to train full time. It was the best thing that happened to me. And now I could really focus on what my objective is, which is to build this $1 million portfolio, build out my record company, build out my music publishing company, continue to put artists out, put money behind the artists. We're about to start moving around doing these shows and taking my artists to go perform in different cities and states. And really just get to a bag. We're gonna be at 40,000 before the day is over with. We already are headed back up. We owe less money to the broker, paying the margin down. Remember, I had like $20-something $20,000 worth of margin. Is down to 16. So I paid $4,000 worth of the margin back down, even though I had lost money. Wiped away the losses. Portfolio at 37 bands, 37 and a half, damn near. The market opens at 9:30. Will be at $40,000. The portfolio be at 40 bands before the day is out. And I may be able to. I may be able to hit that 100,000 before the year is out. I had some setbacks, but I think that if I focus on taking the right trades and come back tight on the iron vice. The iron vice been killing them this week. The puts and the calls in between the levels, in between the day and the weeks, high and low that have been bouncing in between. Yeah. So, I mean, artificial intelligence didn't say it was a genius strategy for no reason. At the end of the day, when we hit this 100 racks, it's gonna make me feel so much better on my way to building $1 million portfolio. And so, this is just the portfolio that people see. I have other portfolios that I'm buying stocks in and nobody sees. I just buy the stocks and forget about them in those portfolios. True story. So, I got crypto and wallets, this deal going up. I just looked at Uniswap and was like, damn, holding that Uniswap, just sending that shit to my wallet and forgot about it. That shit up. And go to my Coinbase wallet and open that bitch up and see what's in there. I just know it's crypto in there. You hear? All I know is crypto in that motherfucker. Crypto in that motherfucker. All right, it's 8:05. I'm going to make me another cup of coffee, finish my blunt, get dressed, and we're going to get ready for a day of trading. Yeah, 37 bands. You know what I'm talking about? We don't run that shit. We gonna take that shit higher and higher. You know? So, we're gonna do it like that. We have the ability to focus and to do this. You know, I'm playing I got a couple risky ass plays though, but I got a couple risky ass plays that I ain't like risking it all, but shit, I'm gonna risk something. You know what I mean? I got a couple risky plays. I got a few of them. Ain't nothing but some money. You can get it back. You know what I mean? Don't be stupid with it. But, you know, many a high risk plays got made people a lot of money. And so, you can't win the game if you don't play the game, y'all. Every American who works a 9 to 5, even professionals, non-professionals, laborers, you know, professionals, laborers, every American, every business owner, every independent contractor should be invested, in my opinion. This is a financial markets opinion, financial markets and literacy opinion and commentary channel. Reality YouTube channel about my life as a record producer and a self-taught investor trading the market, trying to utilize those profits to build my record business and my music publishing company. And whatever other brands that branch up off of this foundation. Go listen and stream the albums on all music platforms. Santorio Hector, Cleveland record producer. You know what I'm saying? Cannabis grower and breeder, self-taught investor.